Give me 1 second. Okay, perfect. We are recording. So thank you so much, Coach Leanne. I'm so excited to hear from her. I am going to read her bio, and I know you are going to love hearing what she says. So Leann Bonnell is a leadership mindset coach who started her company in January 2021. Previous to coaching, Leanne was a Mary Kay team leader, earning such accolades as the Queen's Court of Sales, Princess Court of Sales twice, and the coveted Mary Kay diamond rings. Leanne spent 20 plus years as an engineer in the auto industry for both General Motors and various suppliers. While at GM, she was an engineer for Corvette, Cadillac, and full-size pickup truck platforms. She holds a BS in manufacturing management from GMI Engineering and Managing Institute, MS Quality Engineering from Purdue University, and MBA from Kelley School of Business at Indiana University, as well as Certified Health and Life Coach from HCI. So I'm so excited to hear from Leanne, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let me see here. The screen share thing always trips me up. So hold please. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it. Just make it a little bit bigger and then we're good.
What do you see? This is the main question.
Yep, we see the slides.
Okay, great. So today I'm going to talk about time and can we see it differently? Because time is a very human construct. You don't see bunny rabbits hopping around in the forest with watches on. You don't see, like Bambi coming out and going, hey, it's time for hunting season. I'm going to go hide. You just don't see that. Time is a human construct. And actually, it really became, the time zones became very dominant with trains with the Industrial Revolution. And so we as Americans have gotten to the point where time seems scarce and we are all busy. So my question to you is, can we see it differently? Okay. So in addition to Ellie's fabulous introduction, I am a leadership mindset coach. I worked as an industrial engineer, and industrial engineers work with time. What we say is, hey, especially in the automotive industry, you have 30 seconds to put that bolt on to hold this piece to the vehicle. Or we're trying to parse up the work so we can either add positions or eliminate positions, make the work easier, the flow better, what have you. So industrial engineers work with time, and I've always worked with time, process, and you name it. And I've always been in a manufacturing setting, which means I was an overworked, overstressed, overstimulated professional. Going to work for a 6:30 meeting in the morning was no biggie, and getting home at 7:30 was pretty norm. So who can relate to that? Anybody relate to those long days? And fortunately, I didn't have children. I didn't have children until I got married. And once I got married, sometimes Eric filled the role of child quite well. So I had all of that time that I didn't think I had. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so like I said, time is a man-made construct, and we live in what has been called the Newtonian paradigm. So let me take a second to explain that. Our time that we live in now, it's based on scarcity. There's never enough time. There's never enough opportunity to get what you need to do done. It's finite. You only have X number of minutes. As an industrial engineer, I totally can relate to that because, I was giving people finite amount of time to get X job done. There's always an urgency of time. Got to be faster, got to be faster, got to be faster. Ride with my husband down the road, and or any New Yorker for that matter, and you will know that there is an urgency about time. And these three, scarcity, finite, and urgency, guarantees that there will be a problem with time. In other words, there's never enough. Okay. And you're always pitted against it. So you are set up for failure with a Newtonian paradigm. We also look at time as out there and something we can't control. And so when you feel time pressure, you kind of feel it in your shoulders and your body, and you hunch down. That's usually the stress that you're starting to feel. And then the cortisol squirts out, and stress hormones, weight gain, all that fun stuff. Does anybody have any questions about Newtonian paradigm? Okay. All right. So Ellie recommended this book to me, and I thought, oh, one more book. But I read it. And actually, I listened to it, and I thought Gay Hendricks was a woman, and turns out Gay Hendricks is a man. Just thought I'd throw that out there because it shocked me to death when the author started reading the book. All right, so the book is called The Big Leap. I highly recommend it for any of those of you who are coaching or coaching people with anything in their life. It is a great book, and Ellie told me she read it once a year, and I see why. So what he suggests is that we have a new paradigm, and he called it Einstein time. And in Einstein time, you get more done with less time. Somebody said that they were working on a project and they didn't feel like they got it done in the right amount of time, or something along those lines, when we were going around the intro. And I totally feel that. But in an Einstein time setup, you get more done with less time. You enjoy plenty of time and energy for the most important and creative activities that you have in your life. So if you are an artist and you are, and I'm making this stuff up, you are a financial advisor, but you really love art, you can get your financial advisor work done and then go and play in the art world. Okay. You can also discover unique abilities and how to express them. Ooh, doesn't that sound good? I mean, I didn't know I had unique abilities until I stopped running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But it turns out I do. I have the ability to ask questions and help people move through some issues in their lives, which is why I'm a coach. And it also makes you feel good inside because you are not constantly fighting a clock that is totally human designed. So there are two components of this Einstein time, which is kind of neat. You have new love time. And I love this idea, this thought. New love time is like that person that you fall in love with, and you look at the clock and it says 6 o'clock, and then you look at it again and it says midnight, but man, it only feels like seconds. That's that new love time. Oh, and you can't pull yourself away from that person because you're in love. And then there's the hours that feel like a year. So I had a professor at GMI who, we always said if we had one more hour to live on this earth, we'd spend it with him because he can make an hour feel like a year. And that is what I mean. When your hour feels like a year, that, you're playing in Einstein time. Okay, so Einstein versus Newtonian. Now that we know what they are, what do we do about this? The one major shift that you can take in your mindset is take responsibility for your time. And what does that really mean? Does that mean you go and you block time? Does that mean you go and you use the Franklin planner method to the hilt? No, that is not what that means at all. What it means is that you are the source of time. You realize you are the source of time, and you treat yourself like you are the source of time. And you remove the victim mentality around time. Victim mentality around time, yes, where you're beating yourself up because you didn't finish a project in the 3.5 hours you gave yourself. Well, maybe it wasn't a 3.5 hour project. Maybe it was a 6 hour project. You just continue and you go. You may need to schedule some more time for it, but you don't beat yourself up for it. And then you generate abundance by asking 3 questions. Where am I not taking full ownership? The second question is, what am I trying to disown? And the third question is, what aspect of my life do I need to take full ownership of? I can't answer those questions for you. Those are questions that y'all have to answer for yourself. But where am I not taking full ownership? What am I trying to disown? And what aspect of my life do I need to take full ownership of? So I invite you to come to Einstein time. Einstein time doesn't mean that you show up late for scheduled events. Einstein time is just as I described it, but Einstein time is also a radical diet of removing the following phrases from your vocabulary and taking that step toward responsibility, away from the victimhood and removing the physical feeling that you have currently around time. Okay, so this is an invitation to everybody. You can accept it or not. However, if 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 you accept my wild invitation, you might be surprised to see at how much your mindset shifts and your feelings shift. So here they are. And this is for Havala. I hope she watches it. I do my voices, so hang on here. I wish I had more time to stop and chat, but I'm in a hurry. Where did the time go? There are simply not enough hours in the day. If only I'd gotten another hour of sleep. Moms, anybody? Anybody with this simply wish I had another hour of sleep? Love to talk, but gotta run. I have to get to the bank. It's gonna close. I have to get to the bank. And my favorite, which I have adapted, I don't have time to chat right now. I don't have time. Take that out of your vocabulary. It will make your life so much smoother, better, more relaxed. All of these questions, these statements are human constructs, and you can remove them as quickly as you added them. So does anybody have any questions, comments, or aha moments? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Ellie.
I will say I stopped. First of all, thank you for the reminder that I need to read that book again this year. It's funny, I think I've only listened to it on audio, but I love hearing the author's voice. And it's funny, I thought it was a woman too at first, but it's a man. It's a great book. And I definitely have shifted the way that I talk about it outwardly, but sometimes the inner voice needs reminding. And so, one thing that I will do is some affirmations if I catch myself in a moment of that kind of panicky feeling. And I'll remember a time that I felt like I didn't have enough time to get it all done and it all worked out, right? I'll remember, oh, okay. And then I'll just tell myself, time is always working for me. Time is always working for me. And that really helps me to calm down. And then it's really cool how time seems to expand when I use that affirmation. So,
Yes, I 100% agree. just quickly, my husband and I are going on a trip. We're leaving Saturday. And he's like, well, where are we staying? I'm like, wherever we get to a point where we're tired of driving. Well, what are we doing? We'll just do the cool things that we see. He is such a planner, and he is so backed up to the idea of time. And I have shifted my mindset, and I'm just like, we're just gonna go and see what happens and have some fun. He can't handle that. So you also have to remember the people that when you shift your mindset, the people around you are not shifting their mindset. So it's your opportunity to teach them that this is a good thing. Time will expand. You own it. Just do it. Does anybody else have any questions?
I think it's a great topic. I just want to say, I think it's, am I unmuted? I think I am.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
can.
think it's a great topic to discuss. And I think that in our work, I know from my work life, I'll just speak for myself. I'm surrounded by all kinds of time deadlines, time strictures, time target, time, benchmarks, that are connected to quantities, just like you were saying about engineering. And I don't feel like in my real life as a human being, I live that way. And so I do feel this dynamic tension between my obligations and how to thread through them and how to remain authentic. Because as you mentioned about the, what do you call it? The dissonance between time pressures and creativity is something that I personally can say I truly understand, because my original sense of what I was, well, I still consider myself to be an artist in life, but I don't pursue it professionally, which actually has probably been a good decision. The point is, when I'm most true to myself, there's a lot of wandering through time and space. And if you ever asked me just, well, what's the thing about garden design? Because it's gardening is sculpture in space and time. That's what it is. A lot of things you can't expect really fast results. And in our society, we're a very results driven, quick results driven culture. And the pressures on that, I think, are extremely stressful, because a lot of the times you don't really realize them. And I think I'm a little bit more sensitive to it by virtue of, my sense of it, as you were saying, in order to get the things done that are soul renewing for myself, other than helping people. That's one thing that I really like about my job. But in terms of things for me personally, they're creative things that I do. And there's a total suspension of time in those activities. So it's a really interesting thing to have to live in both of those worlds. I'll just say that.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could do the suspension of time in your day job?
I will say yes. It would be really cool.
Yeah. So give it a shot. See what happens.
Yes, within certain limits. There are places in the day where I could do that. It's a real challenge, It's a real challenge. But thank you for that.
Mhm. I see 5 people. I don't know if there are any other questions. Are there any other questions? Ellie, do you see anybody else?
Thank
Okay.
you so much. I'm going to stop the recording real quick. There we go.